Okay, guys, we're up here in my brother's backyard, and there has been a lot of paranormal activity, crazy things that's went on up here. His wife came out here one night and heard a man's voice, a real deep growl, and it scared her so bad when she went in, she froze in one spot and couldn't move. She couldn't even speak for a minute to tell him what had happened. He's come out here and heard a pig squealing up in the tree. Mia, his pit that's laying right here next to him, she has, this dog don't cower down from anything.
And she's cowered down 2 or 3 times.
But whatever this is out here, she will literally lay on the ground and start whining.
Want to look.
And she's looking now. There's some true stories that my brother has.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, her branch is breaking over there. This is why we picked this spot, so I'm hoping we'll pick something up on video. My brother's going to tell you, we're going to start off with the house that his friend's dad was building at the time. And it was an old house. They had stopped working on it. They had the house almost finished and they just stopped working on it. And my brother and his friends made a little bicycle shop out of it and just a place to go hang out. Okay, brother, I want you to tell the story about how everything began from Pumpkin and then the day that you and Marie went in there and what happened.
Well, it began with me and Marie. Well, my buddy Pumpkin had his dad owned this big 3-story home out here off of Old Wet Road. And they was in construction, they're building it and got all the walls in it and all the floors all the way up to the 3rd floor. And a man put his eyeball out with a nail gun. That's what happened. And they sued Pumpkin's dad and they stopped construction on the home, wasn't allowed to build no more until he got sued. Well, me and Pumpkin, we made a bicycle shop up in this place on the 2nd floor in the very back of the house. We had a great big old room, bicycle shop. Well, it was a bicycle chop shop, to be honest with you. But me and his sister was young back then, you know, young teenagers. And we started fooling around and stuff. And Pumpkin had a big padlock log chain on this house door. You know, the handle wasn't on, so it went around through the hole, through another hole. Yeah, we had to go through the basement to get to it, but we had to sit a couple cinder blocks up and a 5-gallon bucket. And I had to push Marie up over the top of the door through the very top, and then it dropped down into the basement part of it. Well, I pushed her over and I climbed up over. We go up in his house.
The sun was going down too at the time, wasn't it, brother?
Well, it was getting about 4:30, 5 o'clock when we first went in there.
And we're talking fall time, guys, where it got dark early.
So we got up to the 3rd floor, and me and her made us a little love spot in the attic where we go up there and smooch and shit. And we had our little sleep bag up there and everything, and we had our own little spot. Nobody knew where it was, in the attic. Nobody knows we can get up that attic but me and Marie. Well, we're up in this attic smooching and stuff. Keep in mind the basement door is locked with chains. That's the only way you can get in this house, to that basement. Well, Marie and me was smooching, and plain as day, there was a voice called out Pumpkin's sister's name, said, Marie, Marie, I know you're in here, Marie. And me and Marie quit smooching. I looked at her and I said, who was that? She said, I don't know. She said, that's not my mama. She said, that's a male voice. And I said, be quiet, don't say nothing. I said, nobody knows we're up in here. Nobody's seen us come in here. And I said, be real quiet. And about that time, that voice spoke again. And it was more sterner. And it was up on the 2nd floor. Marie, Marie, I know you're in here, Marie. And she started crying. And I covered her mouth with my hand and told her to be quiet because we never heard no footsteps coming up the stairs or nothing. You could just hear the voice. And we're sitting there, in my hand to God. All at once, you could hear a voice right under us. And we was up in the attic looking down through a little square hole in the top of this attic. And we was looking down at an angle where you could see the stairs coming up to the 3rd floor. and we was looking dead at them steps. Nobody never came up them steps. All of a sudden, we heard that voice again call her name out. Marie, Marie, I know you're in here, Marie. There was not a soul in that house but me and Marie.
And it started getting stronger and deeper.
And it started getting stronger and deeper. And I told Marie, I said, we got to do something fast. I said, because it's getting dark. And when I mean dark in this fucking house, you couldn't see your hand in front of your face. And we could visibly see the sun going down. And we could see the darkness just coming down the hall at this point in time, coming past the steps, so that we had to go down 2 flights of steps and then back up over the door. I told Marie, I said, it's now or never. I said, we got to go. Here. What's he doing? Man, sorry for him. But we run down this, I threw Marie down. I said, when your feet hit that damn floor, I said, don't you stop. I said, because I'm going to be right behind you. We scaled them damn steps going down both flights of steps to the basement of this old house. I threw her ass up over that door and I jumped out. And we took off running out ball in that basement of that house and run around through there. And we were sitting there leaning over breathing because we lost the breath. It scared us so bad. And about that time, here come Pumpkin and another friend of mine, Dwayne Gilbert. And they had a little bluegill and shit they caught at the Red Hole where they'd been fishing out the road, right off the road here. And we asked Pumpkin, said, have you been in, did you come to that house a while ago home for Marie? He just laughed and said, no. Said, we just got back from the Red Hole. Said, you see her fish? He said, we ain't even been over there to the house, over at the bicycle garage. He said, why? And I told him the story. Well, Pumpkin said, ooh, ghost. And he starts laughing at us. And I said, look, Pumpkin. I said, it's serious. I said, we're not joking. I said, this really just happened to us. I said, I'll lay my hand on the Holy Bible. I said, it called sit down, Mia. Sit, Mia. Called your sister's name out. And he said, yeah, right, trying to spook somebody. I said, no, I'm not either. Well, about 2 weeks went by. And me and Pumpkin was jumping a homemade ramp on our bicycles, and he worked his back rim. So he went up in that old house by himself to true a back rim with a spoke tightener on the 2nd floor, keep in mind. And we're talking like, like a 2-story house, you know how high that is, about a 15-foot drop to the ground. He's on the 2nd floor back there truing his bicycle rim, and me, Marie, Dwayne, and Glenn Gilbert, and Eric Myers, and Shannon, and Dean, these 2 brothers, was out there in the field playing softball at the horse arena. Pumpkin comes a running like a bat out of hell down through there. Didn't have a shirt on because, it was fall year and stuff, kind of warm. He had his little shirt off. But where he come running down through there, and he was a breathing hard, and he was a shaking, and he come running up to me, and he said, I believe you, man. I believe you. I said, what are you talking about, Pumpkin? He said, I know you're telling the truth. He said, man, look at me. His chest was all skinned up where he jumped, dove out the 2nd-story window, and hit a big mud bank right beside this house on his damn belly and chest. He skinned his chin, his whole chest up, and his hands. He said that he was truing the bicycle wheel, and he said he had his back turned, had his little frame set up there, and was sitting there on his little stool, spinning that rim, truing it. And he said there was a fucking voice come from the hall, and it said, Marie, Marie, I know you're in here, Marie. And he said when he first heard the voice and what it said, he turned around and looked back and said, yeah, all right. Said, nice try, guys. Said, I'm not scared. Y'all are not scaring me. I'm not falling for it. And he said, I'm not listening to you. And he turned back around and started truing that rim again, right? Well, all of a sudden, he's sitting there turning that rim, and the voice is standing right behind him, and he can feel it. When the voice said his sister's name, he could feel the wind coming out of the onto his neck.
What?
Yeah. Pumpkin said that the voice was right behind him and said, Marie, Marie, I know you're in here, Marie, just real deep.
Oh my God.
And said he felt it on his neck, the breathing.
Yes.
And he said he was not turning around for nothing in this world. That all he seen was that window open, and he didn't give a shit. That boy took off running and dove out that second-story window onto that down bank, mudslide back beside that old house. And he was shaking, you know, and I knew he was telling the truth. And then, you know, the next year rolls around, springtime, summer, you know, pretty much put the house deal behind us. Well, it got to getting nice and warm, and Pumpkin asked my mom and dad if I could camp out with them down there at the horse arena.
Oh, this is a good one.
And me and Pumpkin, Eric Myers, and Dwayne Gilbert, the 4 teenagers, from 11 to 13-year-old, you know, that's what we was, all 4 of us. We had a big old tent set up in this horse arena, and it was out there at the very end of the road there, you know, on dead end. Big place, man. Had a big 4-foot pier fence where they race racking horses and shit. They owned a bunch of racking horses. And we had begged Eric Myers' mom, our little buddy Eric. We had begged his mom, Judy, if Eric could,
You bet. Hang on.
Judy, if he could camp out with us. And now keep in mind, these are real religious people, okay? His daddy's a preacher. His name's Gene. She said, I'll tell you what. She said, he can go down and camp out with you all. She said, but for any time tonight after 11, if I come down that road and I don't catch you boys in that tent, I catch Eric out of that tent, he's going to get his ass busted, and he's going to be grounded away from y'all for a couple of months. Y'all ain't going to be able to be around him. We all agreed. Well, we all went to the tent like we said we would, and we had that little tent window open up in the back of the tent so we could see all the way up the road, you know, starting into that, coming down that road. We could see Eric Myers' mama's house lights. About 12:30, all the lights finally went off. We waited around in the tent till about 1:30 to make sure that everybody was good and asleep. So here we come out of this tent with our little cigarettes that we'd stole from Pumpkin's daddy. Had our cigarettes and our little Pepsis, and we went up there on this pond. We had to climb across the horse fence, go up embankment to this big man-made lake out here. It's right off the road here. And Pumpkin and Dwayne went all the way around the lake to the back of the man's house and stowed his boat, his aluminum boat, pedal boat that was docked on his little dock. There was a gazebo out in the middle of this man-made lake for weddings and stuff. So they steal this boat. Me and Eric is on the far side, back side of the pond where all the trees are, bamboo trees, and you can see way down between them, and you can see the horse arena down there. It's a good distance down, you know, pretty good little piece, about half a football field length, promise, but we could see it plain as day. And about that time, we're sitting on this bank smoking our cigarettes, watching. We could hear the boat pedals come across the water of that pond splashing, and I just happened to look back towards the tent, and I said, oh shit, Eric. I said, there's your mom. And we both laid down on our stomachs, and we put our cigarettes down.
Whoa.
Oh, what was that?
The camera just freaking moved by itself. Okay, sorry, bud. We'll pick up where you...
And Eric, I turned around and had a cigarette in my mouth. And Eric's mom, I said, there's your mom, Eric. And he looked, he said, Frankie, that's not my mom. And we got to looking. I said, who the fuck is that? And he said, I don't know. He said, who is that? And about that time, we knew it wasn't his mom because there's a 4-foot wooden fence. And I'm talking 4 foot, you know, 4 layers of wood high. Because they're big, tall racking horses way up there. She'd have to climb over top of that damn fence to get to that tent where it was at. Or she'd have to walk all the way around it to the... all the way to the barn, and then come through the middle of the barn out into the horse field. About a football field away from us, she'd have to walk to get to us, or crawl under that fence. Well, this woman that come up to the fence was in that old white robe, one of the old, like a bathrobe, you know what I'm saying? Like a house top robe deal, and had green hair rollers in her hair. I'll never forget it, as long as I live. When she got to that fence, she never slowed down, and her body come full body operation, come straight through that damn fence. And Eric looked at me and said, "That's not my mom." I said, "I don't know what that is." I said, "Go, Eric." And we was on our hands and knees crawling. I'm talking monkey running on our hands and knees all the way across the backside of this pond, down through sticker bushes, run across a creek, hit the railroad tracks, same out here at Witt, where a man got killed right there. Train hit him. That's where we come up at, right there at the creek, over the creek thing, where that man's truck, the man got hit by a train by in Tidyway's truck. My sister seen him get killed that day. We come up right there, and we run around, and we cut back down, and we jumped across that damn fence, and me and Eric got in that tent, and we both was holding a zipper down on this tent, and Eric said, "What was that, Frankie? What was that?" Said it come through the fence, and it was floating across the field, coming toward the other side of the damn horse arena, up towards the pond. And we're holding a zipper, and my hand to God out once, you can hear Dwayne's voice, and you can hear Punkin say, "What the hell is that, Dwayne?" And he said, "Go, Punkin, go." And you could hear them boat paddles actually smacking the fucking water.
Sorry guys, the camera went dead. Okay, the boat paddles were slapping the water, brother. Pick it up from there.
Well, me and Eric was holding the tent zipper down, and we was discussing what just happened to us and what we saw. And we heard Punkin or Dwayne both holler out, "What is that?" And Punkin saying, "I don't know what that is, Dwayne." And Dwayne saying, "Go, go, go." The boat paddles were slapping the water, and me and Eric was holding this tent zipper, the zipper down, and all at once we heard them come running through the trees. And they come running, we heard them hit that fence, and they was hollering, "Let us in, let us in, let us in." And honestly, I was saying, "Hell no, go away." I said, "I'm not opening this zipper." And we're in here, you're out there, go to hell on. And he said, "Please," he was hollering, "Please let us in, let us in." I said, "I'm gonna unzip this fucking, you better get your fucking asses in here." And I unzipped it. Them two boys jumped in there, and they was white as sheets, soaking wet. And they looked at me and Eric, and Punkin said, "What'd you run for? What'd you leave?" Punkin said, "What'd you see?" I said, "I know what me and Eric seen." I said, "You tell me what you and Dwayne seen." And I said, "And I promise you I'll let you know what I seen," and me and Eric both seen. Punkin said, "We was about middle ways across the pond, and it's foggy as hell. The fog on the pond, you couldn't even see, you could see, but it's real foggy, like smoke. Sit down, Mia. Sit down, right now. Sit." And it was like fog was just boiling off that water by pond and around it. Punkin said that Dwayne was in the front paddling, and he seen Eric's mom, as he thought we did. Thought it was Eric's mother, come right up the bank, right there in front of Palmer, standing there. And he said, "Oh shit, Punkin, there's Eric's mom." And they both laid down in the boat, and the boat was just floating. It's about middle ways now, this man-made lake, and it's floating toward the shore, toward the woman. They quit paddling, right? And Punkin said, "What the shit is that?" Well, this woman that they seen come right off the bank and right onto the water and never went down. She was coming across the damn pond at them. That's when the boat paddles started slapping real hard. And we're all sitting there, and we're all in our 40s now. Right this day, either one of them other three boys could tell you the same story. I'll tell you exact line for line what we saw. We're in this tent, and we had an oath of friends, back then. We were saying best friends, and we all agreed what we seen. We knew what we saw. I'll take it to my grave. I'll lay my hand on the Holy Bible. We did see a woman come through that fence. Thought it was Eric's mama. It wasn't. At this time, it's about 3:30 in the morning, and Punkin's.
Did you hear that?
Mm-hmm.
Punkin's mama, Aunt Nina, lived right across from the horse arena. Her kitchen window's facing the side of the horse arena where the tent was on the other side of the fence, out about 20 yards out in the field. It's about 3:30 in the morning. We're still in the tent. We're all bunched stuff together to talk about what we seen. It's freaking the hell out. And Pumpkin's Aunt Nina said something woke her out of a dead sleep. She had this weird feeling and she was real thirsty. Said she didn't never do shit like that. Said she got up and went to her kitchen sink, went to get a glass of water, went to turn the water on, and said, as she was looking out at the tent, said something caught her eye. And this is a Christian woman. She said that when she looked out, there was something crunched down behind the tent, and it was not of this world. It was not humanly looking. It was black and it was big. And she said it was squatted right behind her tent. And she could see her little flashlight in the tent glowing, so she knew we was awake. All of a sudden, Aunt Nina's back door comes flying open. We hear it, the screen door and everything. And all of a sudden, we see fire come out the end of her 38 across the tent. Pow, 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 pow. Unloaded this fucking gun. And she's screaming top of her lungs, babies, babies, get out of that tent. Get in this house. Get in this house. We didn't go out the front of the tent. We ripped the whole back of that fucking dome tent out. Left our shoes. You know, some of us had shoes on, some of us didn't, because we were trying to get our clothes off the chain. We come bailing out back that fucking tent. I mean, we ripped it plumb apart and hit that fucking fence like ants. And we was running. She was hoarding us in her house with her gun in her hand shaking.
Oh,
get in here, babies. Get in here. School is in. We get in the living room. We're like, what is it, Aunt Nina? What? And Pumpkin's like, Aunt Nina, what are you shooting that gun for? She said, baby, she said, you know your Aunt Nina loves you, babies. She said, I never do nothing to harm none of you kids. She said, Aunt Nina ain't never lied to neither one of you youngins about nothing. And she told us, she said, I don't know what you babies been out doing tonight. She said, I'm going to tell you. She said, there was something black and big, hunched down, squatted down behind that tent, and she seen it moving. And it was big. She come out and she shot. And she said, whatever it was, vanished right before her eyes. Okay, we're sitting there and we start feeling guilty because we knew Eric wasn't supposed to leave that tent. So we told Aunt Nina the truth of what we'd done about stealing that boat. Pumpkin and Dwayne stealing the boat, me and Eric on the bank. She said, all right, youngin, because of the gunshots woke everybody up. Okay, we're talking about 3:30 in the morning. By this time it's about 4 something, about 4:15. All the damn, you know, bam, 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 you know, at that time of morning, the damn lights gonna come on in the houses. Well, there's Eric. Eric and them's mama's light come on right at 5 o'clock in the morning, you know, after all this shit. Aunt Nina says, Eric, we need to go up there and tell your mama what your boy's done. We was dreaded, because we know Eric was in trouble. We get up there to Eric's house, and Aunt Nina said, Judy said, the boys has got something to tell you, but I want to tell you why I shot the gun off. But the boys are going to tell you something first. So we told her the story about us sneaking up there and getting the boat. And we started telling Eric's mama about this woman with a white robe on and green hair rollers, plain as day, a lime green. I'll never forget it. You can see them plain as day from that street light that was right there, that fence. Eric's mom looked at us and was just complete denial. She said, wait a minute, youngin, don't say another word. She goes in there in this old bedroom. At the foot of the bed, the old hope chest. She comes out with this old, man, like damn 50s or 40s something, damn old picture album. Old Tommy picture album. She said, I'm gonna flip this picture album open, and if y'all see anything y'all recognize, you can let me know. She starts flipping through this folder, about middle ways down. She flipped this folder over, and it's an 8 by 10 picture. And my hand to God, it was like deja vu. It was like looking at that woman all over again. And when she flipped the page and we seen it, all 4 of us kids was fighting her, said, that's her, and was touching. That's who we seen last night. And Judy looked at us and said, well, for number one, so I'm going to run a couple things by you youngins. She said, that's my mother.
Mm.
Last night was her birthday. And she said, not only that, Eric has never ever laid eyes on his grandma, because she died before he was born. Eric never seen them pictures of his grandmother. Never ever laid eyes on a picture of them. She said, did Eric also tell you kids that he couldn't swim a lick? And this man-made lake out here is 30 foot deep.
Oh, God.
Said, did Eric tell you boys that he couldn't swim at all? And we all just looked at each other and said, no. Because Pumpkin and Wayne was coming to get us in that boat, and we was all going to jump out in the middle of this fucking pond and swim. And Judy looked at us and I'm going to tell you what that was. Said, that was the spirit of my mother, not trying to harm you all or do anything bad to you all, but to get you away from that pond. And she succeeded. She said the other thing that was behind the tent that Aunt Nina told her what she saw, the big black thing. And Aunt Nina, she said the other thing, the black thing was death. Death was there.
It was the Reaper.
For one of you all, the Grand Reaper's what she saw. Said death was behind that tent. Death was at that pond that night. She said, who's to say? She said, you boys would have made it into that boat. You got out in the middle of that pond and started jumping out. She said, what was y'all? And she said, who knows? She said, you all could have all jumped out and Eric not be able to swim a lick and him panic and start grabbing on to you guys. She said, we could have had more than one or two bodies floating in that damn pond. She said, my mother scared y'all away from that pond to save my son's life because he cannot swim a lick.
Wow.
And that was a very true story.